Greetings and welcome to the second Q&A live weekly session. So just to give you a little bit of understanding, yesterday's live Q&A session would not record because I was having technical difficulties and I used my phone. You can't record from the phone. So I've got my Zoom game up. I'm redoing our first live Q&A, and I'll be sure to include all of the questions that you guys submitted yesterday so that you can review this video and still have what you need. I'm going to hop right in so we don't lose any time. So these live Q&A sessions are going to be opportunities for you to ask any questions that are coming up as you do your exercises. Ideally, you will start your module, you'll go through the exercises, you'll create your task and your deliverables, and the things that you might not be sure about, any comments that you have, any understanding that you need, we can get through those types of questions on the live Q&A calls. So that's what these sessions will be used for typically. You can also submit your questions in advance, especially if you know you're not going to make the live session, but you want to have your question addressed. Simply send it to me via email at Dominique@ReeseFinancialServices.com. Okay, so that's number one. The second thing is going to be the task list. You'll find in what you can expect from this 8-week training. That particular module, which is a part of the welcome module, there is a document called a master task list. The master task list is meant to be used in the following way. So as you go through each module, you'll have deliverables, you'll have tasks, you'll have things that you need to complete and create. Now, in order for you to do that and not forget, I like to use what I've created, the master task list. It's one way for you to take, it's one way for you to take the deliverables, tasks, things that you need to do. For example, you're going to be dissecting your fears in the first module. So that's a task. You need to sit down and do it. You might need to create some time. You can add that on your master task list, along with any other things that need to get done for this training. And at the end of each day that you work on the training, take that task list and transfer what's there to your master calendar, your master planner. I know I use a planner in my everyday life where I write things down, and if I don't, I will forget. So that's my way of staying accountable to myself. That's my way of making sure I'm able to get things done that I need to get done. So for the most part, this master task list is not only going to serve as a reminder of the tasks and deliverables that are due for our training, but you will use that task list to then transfer those things to your system, whatever system you use to get things done. That could be, again, planner, a calendar, your phone, whatever it is that you use to keep track of the things that you need to get done, okay? So that's how the master task list will be used. If you have any questions about that, simply email me and I'll get back to you as soon as possible. Let's dive into the sections. So you have 2 sections that are available to you as of yesterday. As of today, the 3 reasons why you haven't started your financial coaching practice and 3 must-have goals to start your financial coaching practice. Those are the 2 sections that are available out of the entire curriculum. The rest of the curriculum will become available as each week passes. So starting with the first one, this section, the 3 reasons why you haven't started your financial coaching practice, these things are going to talk about fear. This section is going to talk about fear. It's going to talk about your lack of action and lack of support. Now, you have taken action and you now have support. And we'll talk about that in a second. The first thing though, fear, false evidence against reality. So the reason why it's important for us to start here, even though we're talking about business, what does fear have to do with that? Well, it has a lot to do with it, because sometimes we allow our fears to prevent us from taking action on the things that are important to us. So I think it's extremely important that as we begin to process our minds for what we're taking on, because we are about to create a shift in our lives, we are, even if you don't start this business, and what I mean by that is you start this business through this training, and once the training is done, the business just sits there. Even if that's the outcome, although I pray that's not the outcome, but if that's what's best for you, your mindset still has to shift to being able to launch. And the last part of our curriculum is all about launching your business within your state. So part of our mindsets are going to shift from the employee mindset to the entrepreneurial mindset. Fear is heavily involved in that because now we're starting to take more and more financial responsibilities for our livelihoods. When we start to create our own businesses, when we start to create our own practices, no matter what it looks like. I don't care if your practice is simply created to create content and that's how you want to serve. That is A-OK. However, you're still now an entrepreneur and you're going to be serving clients through your own shop. So our mindsets have to shift, and how we deal with fear, uncertainty, doubt it's going to play a role in this process. It's never not going to play a role. It is an inevitable piece of being an entrepreneur. So I want you to be able to have a system by which you manage your fears, a system by which you manage your uncertainty and your doubt. That is going to be so important, because if you don't have it, guess what's going to happen? You're going to have the fear, the doubt, and the uncertainty, and it's just going to rest there. It's going to reside within. And those types of things can't exist when we're trying to move forward in our practices. If so, we won't move much forward. We won't get very far. We will not be able to build the way we want, with the peace of mind that we need, with the clarity that we need, with the certainty that we need. So the first section is going to dive into fear, false evidence against reality. And I'll give you a really personal example, a relevant and timely example. When I created this course, I created it for you because I have met you. I know what your concerns are. I know what your interests are. I know what you're trying to do. And everything that I've done up until this point has been very deliberate, very intentional. From the moment AFCPE 2018 was being marketed, I told myself, I'll never forget, sitting at my desk, I'm going to present next year. And that's all I said. That's all I knew. And then the emails came around for presenters. I applied. I was accepted. So that was the first thing, right? And then everything I did thereafter was in preparation for my presentation. And then coming out of that presentation, I did not know that I was going to necessarily create this course. I knew there would be something for me to do, a way for me to serve. I just didn't know what it would be. Then it was like, okay, I'm going to create a course for this. I built the course on Teachable platform, invested money, and then got down to the moment of which I was going to send that first email that I sent to you. And bam, fear. What if no one purchases this course? What if everybody unsubscribes from my email list? What if no one wants it? Those were the three things that came to mind. And I'm like, Dominique, really? What if no one wants it? You just met over 50 people who are interested in this topic alone, who want to know more about starting their own financial practice. Is there any evidence that shows people don't want this? No. So that was false. My thought was false. False evidence against reality. What reality showed me was that people do want this information. But here I was in my head creating negative head trash before I could even send the first email, creating something. Thank you, son, but you have to go out because mommy's on work right now. So, sorry, my son Yair. So, again, an example of false evidence against my own reality. I knew better, but that still crept into my mind. What if everyone unsubscribes from my email list? Really? Like, the negative head trash. How did that even come up? I don't know, but it did. Everyone's going to unsubscribe, Dominique, even before the first email. Before I even send the first email, I'm thinking that everyone is going to unsubscribe. False evidence against reality. I haven't even sent the email. So that's already a false start, right? So that's what I mean. I am not exempt from fear. I just have a system by which I use to manage it. And my system was check yourself. What's happening here? What are you saying to yourself? Okay, is there any evidence that shows that is going to happen? That has happened? That will happen? No. Okay, so it's time to move on from that thought, eliminate that thought, extinguish that thought, and keep it pushing. Take the action. Do the thing you're about to do. So I have my own system by which I use to manage the fear, uncertainty, and doubt that comes up for me every day as an entrepreneur, as someone who's transitioning back to entrepreneurship from a full-time job, as a mom, as all these different roles I play. I am not exempt from fear. I simply have built a system, and that's what I want you to have. I want you to have a system by which you use to manage the fear, uncertainty, and doubt, because it will come up. It will happen. And if you don't have this system, it will reside with you and it will prevent you from taking action. As business owners, we are our action, right? So whatever actions we don't take, our business suffers every bit of the way. And we can't afford that. You've invested your time, your money, and your energy to get something out of this course. So I want you to be able to take action on everything that you want to take action on. So that's what the first section is going to talk about, and help you define your fears and dissect your fears. And we're going to use the help of Tim Ferriss, who is the author of famed 4-Hour Workweek. If you don't know about it, go ahead and Google it, check it out. But his TED Talk is what is going to help us build our system, the system that you use. Now, you don't have to do exactly what he says, but I found that his system is very helpful. So I've attached the TED Talk video for your review. I've included the PDF slides that he's made available to help you define the fear, dissect the fear, and then move on from the fear, right? Because now you've got some logic behind it. You know if it's real or not. So that's the system that you'll work on creating, so that when things come to you in your business, in your livelihood, you have this system that you can at least test out once you have it, to see how well it helps you to dissect your fears. So that's what the first section is going to be about. And then you're going to dive into lack of action. Now, you are no stranger to taking action. You've taken action on this course. So you know how to take action. And kudos for that. Now it's going to be consistent action. We've got 8 weeks to do a lot for the most part. And this is where taking action every week is going to matter. So mindset plus behavior equals outcome. What you think about this journey, about your role as an entrepreneur, about what you're producing is going to matter, because it impacts your ability to take action. And then those two things, what you believe and your ability to take action, is what directly relates to the results that you're going to get or not get. So ultimately, we want to talk about mindset and whatever shifts might be required such that they support the actions you need to take throughout this journey. Okay, so that's going to be a mindset exercise. You'll see some of my content is pulled from other curriculums that I've built. Don't worry about that. I'm getting all that in order. And then have some other tools that I've used and that have been shared with me from various sources that I think would be a great value add for you as well. So no busy work here. There's no busy work. Everything in divine order, as my cup says. Everything in divine order. Everything in divine order. Okay, there's no busy work here. Everything that you're going to do is going to be a building block towards us eventually launching this practice. So just remember, I'm not here trying to fill your time up with fluff. Everything will be used. Everything matters.
Mom, Merry Christmas.
Thank you, Yair. Please don't come back inside. Okay. The next section of the next lecture of the first section is going to end with support. Again, you're no stranger to taking advantage of the support that you need. You're here in this training so that you can have the support to start your practice. So ultimately, I am one form of support, and I am going to support you in this journey by providing education, mentorship, coaching, and accountability. So let's talk about those things for a second. In this journey, that's how I am going to support you. But as you start to build your practice, you're going to find you're going to need more support, whether it's professional support, you got to pay a graphic designer, you got to pay a photographer for new photos, you got to pay a website person to manage your site or build your site. You're going to build a team. And this team of people that you are going to recruit is going to form support for you. So we need to start thinking about who those people are now, what organizations we might want to reach out to or need support from, whether it's like a local small business resource, a bank, because you might want to get some funding or you need a loan. You know your situation better than I do at this point. So I simply want you to start thinking about the forms of support you're going to need as we start building out our practice. That includes hiring, right? If you know you're going to need an assistant, which I know I'm going to need at some point, I'm starting to think about what that looks like right now. Not the cost and all of that just yet, but who are these people and where can I find them? Let's identify the sources for our support. So the first section of our curriculum will end on that note. We're going to address fear, we're going to address mindset and action, and then we're going to address the support that we need. After that, we're going to shift into section 2, which is going to talk about the 3 must-have goals. This part is where we start to dive in, right, to the practice building. So you'll find in this section that you'll start with your personal goals. And when I say personal goals, I want you to think lifestyle. What type of lifestyle do you want to live? And how will your practice support that? Not the other way around. Not, okay, I gotta work, and so because I work, this is my lifestyle. Not that. The other way. This is the lifestyle I want to live and lead. Here's how my work and my business fits and supports that. I want you to think about right now, right? It's the weekend. Here we are building our practices on the weekend. Well, why this might not be ideal for the long run, it is what it is right now. This is the lifestyle we lead, where we're going to be working 7 days, maybe 6 to 7 days a week for the next 8 weeks. Is that the type of practice you want to build? I don't like working on Mondays. So in my business, I don't work on Mondays. And I try to translate that to my 9 to 5 as well, where I don't do any coaching on Mondays. I might take meetings, I might take calls, but I tend to like to spend that time just working on the things that need to be worked on without client interaction. So to that point, think about your lifestyle goals. Think about your personal goals. Think about your income goals. Income goals for personal. How much do you want to make doing anything? Let alone running your business, let alone working, let alone whatever. This is a time to think about you. Be as selfish as you possibly can with these goals. And don't just create anything for the sake of exercise. Like, let's really put thought into what our future looks like, because we're building it. We're writing it right now. And everything in divine order, you can have it. And it more than likely will play out in a way that isn't what you expected, but you still get what you're seeking. So let's be mindful. This is our opportunity to set goals that really matter to us. Not our bosses, not our jobs, not our community, not our clients, not our kids, not our families, but to us. So let's take the opportunity to give that some thought. Next, Yair. Sorry. Next, we're going to have the professional goals. So this is where you're going to consider all of the things business related, all of the things career related. I know I wanted to get my AFC. Well, I had to get my AFC for the job. So AFC, FFC, but then I thought about the CFP, kind of thought about it. And then I'm thinking law school right now. So professionally, there's still more I want to do. AFC's done, FFC's done. CFP came about because I found a scholarship for it, and I'll share more with you about that. So ultimately, I want you to consider what's left to do for your career. What more do you want to accomplish? What does this practice look like? We're building practices that we get to operate however we want. Take this opportunity to define that for what you know for now, because things change and they will continue to change. But you got to start somewhere. So when you envision yourself launching and saying, hey, I'm here to serve, I'm open for business, who's going to come through your doors? When they come through your doors, how are they going to meet you? Is it online? Is it in a brick and mortar? Is it in a home office? What does this practice look like? How many clients are you going to serve a month, a week, a year? How much are you going to charge? All of that stuff. How much do you want to make gross through the business? A few hundred a month? $3,000 a month? Is this a full-time gig right away, or is this part-time work through your business? Set those professional goals. Think about what your practice is going to look like. So I have some tools that will help you answer questions that will sort of guide this process. And in answering those questions, you'll start to formulate what this is going to look like for you. The last lecture of section 2 is going to, I'm sorry, just give me 1 second. I apologize. Mommy duty never ends, so just bear with me. Every week, this is something that we might have to manage. So I apologize in advance, but it is a part of my business and life. So focusing on the last part of the section, last lecture within the section, is going to be your profit goals. And so you'll see in the text of the curriculum that I've provided some guidance around really thinking about the work we're going to be doing in our businesses, how much time we actually have to work, and based on the available time, what our hourly rate is going to be, right? And that's just one way to start. This is to get you in the know about what you can charge, what you want to charge, what you should charge, what's the indication of your value and worth. And I'm warning you, you might have some whoa, aha, shocker moments, right? You're like, that's what I have to charge in order to make this work? And depending upon how comfortable you are with creating value, yeah, that's what that number might tell you. But if we allow the numbers to tell us what we can afford to do within our businesses, we at least know where we should start or what we should work towards. Even if you're not comfortable with charging whatever that number is outright, you know the number. And you know what that number means. The numbers tell a story and they never lie. So we could shy away from the number, we could charge less, we could do all of that. But we will never reach that potential of what the numbers are telling us based on how much we choose to make and the time and the amount of billable hours that we have to do it. So with time, I pray that we will all reach that point where we are very comfortable to charge exactly what the numbers tell us that we should be charging. And I did a little bit of that even with this course. I had to test it. I had to find value based on what I'm offering and the long run. You know, I'm not going to charge $100 moving forward for this course, but in testing it, I knew there's value here, and I also know I wanted to consider the psychology of my client, you. And so I also consider my own buying patterns and behaviors. So you will consider all those things. But if we just simply let the numbers tell us what we should be doing in our business when it comes to pricing strategy, this is one place we should begin. So I wanted you to have that foundation. This is something once you learn, you will always know how to do it. You'll always know how to set a price based on how much time you have, when it's a time thing, when we're trading time for value, but also because we do one-on-work service and it's service-based at times, it is time. That's it. You know, a 1-hour session costs this much. It's only so many hours in a day. So how much should you be charging for that 1-hour session? Well, based on a number of billable hours, based on how much you want to make, the formula within the curriculum is going to help you determine where you should start with that type of pricing. Okay. And then I have some other resources in there for you. So that covers the curriculum that is available to you this first go round. Every week, more and more curriculum will become available, and we'll go from there. Again, no busy work. Everything in the curriculum I want you to do, I want you to spend time with. And that's where that task list can be helpful. If you haven't got to it, write it on the task list and then transfer that to your master planner or your master calendar. Now, the questions that came up in yesterday's attempt at the live Q&A, we had 3 really, really great questions. So I'll cover them right now. Renard, he was on the line. Thanks for contributing, Renard, and thanks for joining us. He wanted to know if these recordings would be available. Yes, all of the live Q&As will be available, especially now that I know I can't record on the phone, only on the laptop. So we've got all of those kinks worked out. You will be able to find it within the curriculum. Because of the technical difficulties I had yesterday, I'm obviously re-recording, but once this is made available to me from Zoom, then I'll make it readily available to you and post it. So that's what I'm going to do today, and then every week thereafter. So right after our session, I say, give me about an hour or so, if that, but I think they compress it and all that relatively quickly. But they do send an email notification saying, hey, your recording is ready to do whatever you want to do with it. So once I get that email notification, I will upload it to the curriculum. And if you weren't able to make the live Q&A, you'll have that. Delisha had a great question. If we're going to cover contracts and agreements in our training, and my direct answer was no. I will not cover contracts and agreements and those types of business details in this training. However, in the next training, I will. So we will dive more into the business aspects in the second iteration of how to start your financial coaching practice. This one is simply getting us up and ready to launch. Okay. What I did mention, however, is that in this training, you will get guidance around creating your contracts and your agreements. Some of that will be in the form of your subcontractors kit. So if you go back to what you can expect from this training, you'll find that I'm going to do, you're going to walk away with a business plan and a subcontractors kit. Within that kit, you'll have some form of agreements, because it'll be the kit that I currently use. It'll be the templates. So I'm going to share that with you. So in that way, I will provide you with some guidance. And of course, you still have your 30-minute sessions with me, your private ones, and then the live Q&A. So if you have questions around these things, we can address them. And those would be the 2 opportunities to address them. However, if it's something that is not covered directly in our training, I'll probably redirect you to a different resource for the time being. And then once I launch the second course, we will cover more of those details. So stay tuned, and I hope that this training is valuable enough for you to stick around for the second one, okay? And then we had another question. Ben wanted to know, how long do we have access to this training? And my answer was, for the rest of your life. So you'll have lifetime access to this training. It is my goal to provide value. And I know if I provide value, you'll come back. You'll find this information of use to you. And so I want you to be able to have value or have access to this whenever you like. You've already made an investment, and I appreciate that. And I'm not trying to nickel and dime you. So, you know, as this improves, as I refresh content, as I add content, there'll be notifications sent. and you'll be able to say, hey, let me pop in and see what's new. Let me see what other tools I might be able to use, and that'll be free for the rest of your life. So thank you for that question, Ben, because that is a great question. And again, this is about serving for me. So I know the money will come. I'm not concerned about that. There will be more people who will take this course, and they too will have access to it for the rest of their lives. So access is granted on a lifetime basis. Those were the 3 questions that we had. And that was a great opportunity for you to see how this thing works, right? What these live Q&A sessions are about. Ask whatever questions you might have that are coming up. I'll answer them. This recording will be made available to you, and we'll go from there. I want to encourage you to schedule your 30-minute private sessions with me as soon as possible. We're going to conduct those sessions on Sundays. Right now, that's like all the time I have. So I'm working 7 days a week, 5 days a week with the regular gig, and then Saturdays will be our live Q&A sessions, and then Sundays I'll do one-on-one sessions. So I'm working 7 days a week, guys. And that's the time that I can commit to do the 30-minute sessions. So it's on a first come, first serve basis in terms of availability. Right now, my schedule is pretty wide open for Sundays. So if you want to whip out your calendar, you want to plan the next 8 weeks, get your 2 30-minute scheduled, or get your 2 30-minute sessions scheduled, that would be great. That way you make sure that you have the time you need and want that's ideal for your calendar and your schedule, okay? I feel like that's about it. Because we had such technical difficulties, we got started a little late yesterday. And it seems like right about now we're at about 40 minutes, or maybe approaching 40 minutes. So yeah, I want to say thank you. Thank you for, 1, joining the training, 2, watching this video, getting the information that you need, and remember to participate. You know, this is going to be whatever you make it. What else? Comment section. So within the curriculum, there will be instructions for you to leave comments in the comment section. Please participate. What you get out of it is what you put in, right? And again, I'm not trying to create busy work. I really want to create engagement. I want to hear from you. I want to know what's working, what's not working, what can be improved, and I'll do my best to address that. The comment section is going to be key because it allows for me to hear from you, especially about a specific part of the curriculum. And if you want to drop a question there, I can collect that question and then address it in the live Q&A, because more than likely someone else might have that same question as well. So I want you to take advantage of the platform, take advantage of the time that we have together, and any question, no question is a stupid question, right? Any question you have, leave it in the comment section, and I will address it. The other thing, comment section, there was something else that came up. Schedule your 30-minute coaching sessions. Oh, the WhatsApp. So I'm going to be adding everyone to the WhatsApp today. And the WhatsApp is just going to be on-the-go access to me and to each other. With WhatsApp, it's a text messaging service for groups. And anyone who joins, you want to, well, let me start here. If you want to join, email me at dominique@reesefinancialservices.com with your first and last name and the phone number that you want to participate with. You will be a part of the thread. You don't have to join in. You could see the conversations as they happen. You can sit on the sideline and watch, or you can hop on in with your own question, your own comment. I'll be giving encouragement. I can also use that as a way to say, hey, gonna be hopping on the live Q&A in 10 minutes, you know, so reminder. And, you know, in the event that something's not working properly, hey guys, you know, heads up, da-da-da-da-da. So WhatsApp is just a way to be in touch instantaneously, like via text. You can control the notifications and all of that. So if you do want to be a part of the WhatsApp group, email me first and last name, phone number, and I will add you, and we'll get started with that on Monday. So tomorrow we'll go live with the WhatsApp. Let's see. I think that's it. I think we've covered everything that was covered yesterday and that I wanted to share with you. Just remember that this journey is a journey, right? And we're going to make the best of it. I really want you to walk away having so much value, getting results week to week. That's the goal. Week to week, we get results. So we got to push each other. There's going to be times where you come home and you don't want to do the work. Maybe I could send out something that just encourages you right then and there to just push an extra 15 minutes, push an extra 30 minutes, and just get it done. And that's the mindset of an entrepreneur. You know, if we don't kill, we don't eat. I very specifically remember saying that to myself, walking around the streets of New York. If I don't book a client, if I don't get $300, I won't eat. And that's what I was charging when I first started. I need to book a client. I don't kill, I don't eat. And so that's just the mentality that has stuck with me. But it makes a lot of sense, whether it's, again, just so tired, dead dog tired, don't want to do nothing but just go to sleep. But you know, if you just did that one thing today, it won't be on your plate tomorrow. So where do you find the energy to just, squeeze out another 15 minutes? That's our why. That's the motivation behind what we're doing. Sometimes it's not enough to just show up for your clients. Sometimes it's other things. For me, it's my son. We've got a situation where I'm a single mom. I'm working. I've got this awesome, amazing kid. I want so much for us, and it's really hard. It's really hard. When I'm dead dog tired and I don't want to come home and work on my business, I look at him and I'm like, man, okay, we got to get him the things he said he needs and wants. We live at home right now, which is cool. I'm able to save, but it's just so expensive here in LA. I'm not finding even what I can afford, let alone what I want. Like, if I'm gonna pay that, it needs to look a little better than that. So I'm careful about just leaping out there because I feel like I should. But at the same time, this is my opportunity, just like you have opportunities to do whatever it is that you want through this practice, to serve the way you feel like you want to serve, to show up the way you feel like you want to show up, to impart information that you feel is not being imparted. This is our time, and I'm so honored to be a part of this journey with you. So with that, I'm going to end our first live Q&A. And if you have any questions, just add them to the comment section and I'll address them, and we'll go from there. So thank you so much. I hope you have a good rest of your weekend. And if you have anything for me, you know how to reach me, Dominique at ReeseFinancialServices.com. And once we get that WhatsApp going on, you'll have the WhatsApp as well. All right? Take care. Peace.